I think everything for me kind of leads back to poetry.
What's my name? What's your name? My name is Ray Wright.
My name is Ayan Aiden.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
I'm Ray. Hello.
I'm Ned.
Hi, my name is Zaki, or Zachariah, or Zakaria, whichever one you can pronounce.
And I am Birmingham's Poet Laureate.
I'm a poet. I've lived in Birmingham for 5 years.
I write poetry and perform.
I'm a poet, performer, playwright.
Do I have to have a real job?
Like you look for some kind of soul. You were never gonna look like Willem Dafoe. You're never gonna look like Willem Dafoe.
Someone who is like a good friend of mine now, but I had only just met at the time, was like, would you like to go to a poetry night? And I was like, okay.
Right! Sit down, shut up! Welcome to Overcoat Poetry!
Hello poetry people, welcome to Sounds of Music! Yeah! This city, for some weird reason, always has a group of people that are resilient and who always are proud and who are always taking ownership of themselves and their creativity and their passions, and it's no different to the poetry scene. I've never seen it. I've travelled far and wide through poetry. People think I'm biased when I say this, and yeah, I'm biased towards Birmingham, but I don't think anybody who's ever stepped into the poetry scene has not seen what I've seen and does not feel the same way that I feel about it. It's special, it's unique, and I think the world needs to see it, the world needs to hear it, that there's something special happening here.
Hi, welcome to Running Mouth. Thank you so much for coming, everyone.
There's kind of like a core community that builds around them of people who come, not necessarily every time, but like, you know, come to a lot of them and read, or are consistently just a really supportive audience member and are just like gassed to be listening to whatever poet's reading. I think that really contributes to the sense of like feeling like you belong in a space and feeling like people care what you have to say, even if they've never met you before. There's just that sense of openness and warmth that I think really sets the Birmingham scene apart from anywhere else.
My first poetry performance was not far from here. It was like a 5-minute walk down. There's nothing like it. I don't even know, that felt like community. That was like proper, just people getting together. I think about it every now and then, I'm like, yeah. It started off in a great space. Like back my poetry just, it set a precedent.
It's like you've walked 8 miles, arms are heavy. Double check your sweater already, there's no spaghetti. Then your name's called out. Whole crowd goes so loud. Oh no, I'm stealing Eminem's bars. Then nice. Then your name's called out. Whole crowd goes so loud. Approach the mic. Everything is silent now. A ghost town. They all wait for what goes down. You open your mouth, but the words won't come out. Nerves and doubts. Dropped all your verbs and nouns are on the ground. Everything is urgent now. And there's a bunch of sound. Before you know it, it's all over. You sat down amongst the crowd, keeping all of your composure. With friends in your ear saying, it's cool man, I told you, but you can't help feeling like a breakup with no closure. Watch, you're back next month for more exposure. Weren't at your best, but by then, you'll be way closer. Your next poem will need a chauffeur and promoter. Bars cold like solar. No, I mean polar. In between both, this next poem's bipolar. Bestow so much wisdom they think you're an older. And if they don't listen, then just shrug your shoulders. You're just ahead of your time, ahead of the curve. You're headed to 9 open mics. This one's only the 3rd. Don't pretend to pay attention. You were just in your purse. And you weren't any better, you just ordered desserts. I'm like the worst shepherd, no control of the herd. I called you all sheeps, that's the least you deserve. And if you see me on the streets, I suggest you divert. And before I finish this piece, I need one thing from you nerds. If you don't raise the roof, I will never return.
I was really, really nervous at first. And I got up there, literally like knees knocking, shaking, terrified, and read one poem like this on my phone. And then I was like, I'm never doing that again. And then sort of 3 or 4 months later, I think it was like December of my first year, I went to my first Grizzly Pear. And got picked out the hat, read a poem. And it was still terrifying, but I started to realise that like people responded well to it and were like, you should keep doing that. That was good.
Yeah, I think it's like a really interesting dynamic of like you are stood up saying things and people are just sat and listening, and like there is a response, but it's not always like a verbal response.
You can get up there and suck so badly and like completely forget your words, and people will still be like, you did such a great job, and really, really hype you up, which is nice for a baby beginner poet.
There's certain people in the poetry scene that I really look up to, like Ayan, Zaki. At the same time, you can't compare your art to somebody else's.
One thing about this city's creative scene is it's collaboration and not competition. I've learned from my peers, from my cohorts.
Flag mirroring the blueness of the sky and the seas and a star within it. Each point representing our rightful territories, given away, torn apart by colonial entities.
Writing poetry is an act of resistance, whereas performing it is an act of revolution.
We are starting now. I am Ray. I use he pronouns.
I'm Josh or Joshua, whichever you prefer. I use he, their pronouns. I've spent an entire lifetime looking for an image of fortitude to image myself after. You are the motion picture that I have found. Your existence is polemical. Your cells are singing odes. You have been for so long thankless proofs of concept for some little boy who never felt human. So some little boy who never felt human thanks you. Rises like voice from the crowd, his throat kisses, his tongue to the roof of his mouth flares, his heart like an orange red explosion. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I hated poetry when I was little, and then Benjamin came into my school and did his thing to us, and then I was converted completely. I really think he is the hero of Birmingham, because he connected with people, he spoke to you, and you could understand him. That's what his work was, and that's what his work is. Got 3 poets here today. Got Mr. Ray, Sarah, and Zach.
A fire grows in my city. It barrels down the high street, latches on the highest trees, and speaks to me quietly. It says, although I look mighty, I'm not here to burn. I know of her, I've had my turn, I am only here to learn and teach. With my long arms and long hair, I'm hoping I can reach every person who's in need. And you know what I said back? Keep fueling the fire, Mr. Zephaniah. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Most people I know go along to it to actually like catch up with their friends and like see people they know, and like it's a nice, even though it's a very vulnerable, can be a very vulnerable place, it's also a very like nice sociable place. Like you see people that you know, and when I first joined, obviously I didn't know anyone, and it was then like going along and just like repeat it. It's like a sports club, except the sport is like poetry.
Oh yeah, because me and Sakib met at Talent to the Music.
Really?
It was my first poetry event. Yeah, and I was went with my friend Izzy, and we didn't know anyone or what we were meant to do. And Saqib just sat next to us and was like, "Hey, ever been to a poetry event before?" And we were like, "No." And he was like, "Well, it's really awesome. I'm going to perform a really, really cool poem." What was it called? It was like
Bonbons and Peroni.
Yes,
yeah.
it was so good. And then Saqib performs another really awesome poem today.
Before I met her, she hadn't performed for poetry, and then she started doing it, and now she's the co-chair of Grizzly Pear. Like, that's amazing.
It's changed my life. I feel like I'm a much more confident person now, and especially with my poetry, and I've come a long way with my poetry because I see people perform and I'm like, oh, that's inspiring, I want to be like that, I want to do that, and then I go up and do my own stuff, and I can put like other people's work, like inspiration into my own work, and it really makes you feel something.
I love poetry. I've met some of the greatest people through it. I think it's a subtle act of resistance. Investing in community and culture and poetry and music and all of these different sorts of like creative expressions just means the world to me, and it means so much that I can be a part of it, and I have a platform where I can share my art and my story, and also meet amazing people like Erin and like dozens of other people. And I'm so grateful for the Birmingham community.
I don't care about the gods, I couldn't give a toss. I couldn't care less about your tragedies in fancy dress, your fancy marble statues exposing all your bits, your mammoth pots and paintings of yourselves. I couldn't give a single care in the world, mate. Myths and legends, I got myths and legends, local legends. John the Don and Pete the Feats and the King's Heath Monkey Man, the Cottridge Growler growling old flow with a decade-old fake tan. I do not care about the gods. Tell me about the people. They taught me all I know and they're all I've ever known. That's right, Zeus. My mate Zachariah with his stories has got more spark than you, and you think you're hard at your Colosseums. Well, I got Birmingham, so move.
Can we get a massive round of applause for all of our open micers?
I feel like very like free when I'm on stage for the most part, I think, and I don't know, it's like in most like social interactions I spend a lot of time like thinking or being like, oh, I don't know, and that doesn't really happen on stage just because there's literally no time. You're there and then you're not there, so I don't know, I feel like sometimes that it feels like there's like nice like unfiltered like elements of myself that kind of appear just because of the environment.
I remember watching Ray perform for the first time, and Ray for me changed performance poetry in my opinion. They were reading and their hands were going and the words were just like getting stuck in the room, and I was just like, this is not poetry anymore or performance, this is like art, this is so artistic, like this is what it should all be about. And I was like, that's where I want to go with my work.
Miss Lauren Hill is taking a ballet class, and no one knows that inside she is harmonizing the idea of a pirouette, is preparing to be the thing smearing through air, and the force holding it up is ready to be pointed at instruction, is smirking at the severity of it all, makes a metaphor, grows bored of it before it can trail from brain to mouth, lifts leg high, detaches thigh from hip, twirls it around, and laughs out loud at the idea of a delicate thing. People are starting to stare. She is looking for an exit.
I don't know, like, there's no wrong answers in poetry. You know, you can just be the freedom you have with it, you know?
But you seem to find your senses in the lack of mine. You seek direction within the fragmentary maze in my mind. My chest is so hollow. So you kiss the flesh on my arms and my heart lies. My naked skin never suited my style of sleeve, so I designed my heart to cover the scars that the past leaves. Can you promise you'll never leave my side?
Performing and like putting myself out there was really just that invitation to like be brave and be yourself. It's okay to care about things and be very earnestly invested in them.
It's really cool to be like, oh, this is where all those people are.
Let the word keep me warm like a winter coat in June. Let the word braid my hair when I am sick with cold.
You can laugh and then cry, and then you hate something and then love something, all in the space of one evening with 10 people who look nothing alike, who live no similar experiences.
Some people on stage are like very loud, very like assertive and everything, and then off stage they're very quiet, like they really keep to themselves.
Drink death is coming. Drink death is real. Lock up your drinks, vaccinate your drinks, keep your drinks close, because drink death is coming.
Queerness and poetry, yeah.
I was going to read something about being gay, but I don't know where it is. So.
In my mind, there is something implicitly queer about poetry as a form of writing. The unconventionality that you have a lot of in poetry, the experimentation, just even like the use of blank space, the use of unsaid things and of condensing things into their like purest form.
Hello and welcome to the Big Gay Poetry Night! Yay!
But it's very interesting that the Brum scene is very queer. I think it gives you that double sense of community, and like you're not just seeing like poets, but also it's like queer people performing and having access to the...
Your best friend told you when you were eating your cheese and onion sandwich that you were doing a good job of that. Cheese and onion is apparently a very heterosexual choice in sandwich filling. You should have been vegan. They make great villains because, well, most of them are gay, so everybody hates them anyway.
I think seeing so many people in the scene be so sure of themselves, or seeing people like transition as I knew them, was really beautiful, and I think gave some kind of weird permission in myself to be like, it's okay. Introduce yourself as a poet with they them pronouns before you are necessarily out to like your family or your workplace.
Inside my mouth is another mouth teaching its own language. 6. To be a dyke is both a noun and a verb. 7. It took 20 years to translate the shape of myself. Thank you.
Poetry in itself and performing is extremely camp. Just like be on stage and be like, it's time.
We say big, you say big, big.
Because at the end of the day, the poetry community is the most accepting community I've ever been in. They accepted me before a lot of other people accepted me. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
For sure, yeah. I feel like I've had some really cool conversations with people. Zachariah being one of those people about like the like intersections of a lot of different things and what that means for us in poetry or in general, whether that being like queerness or blackness or religion or, you know. Yeah, it doesn't really feel like a space where I like learn.
Poetry is so much more than someone just writing something and just performing it. It's people sharing pieces of their souls in a digestible way for the world, and I think if everybody became a poet, then barriers in society would cease to exist, I believe, as an optimist.
It makes me cry.
God, it makes me cry all the time.
That piece about the like multi-faith iftar. Oh my, yeah. Oh,
He's so powerful.
So good.
You're headlining tonight.
Yes. It's with the Birmingham Loves Libraries campaign, which is so important. So I've got a couple in there, sort of sandwiching it, which are about art and the importance of art and literature especially.
Please welcome to the stage, Corey Rich!
I know I'm not going to be the original saying this, but the arts have completely saved my life. You know, especially growing up sort of being autistic, I think it's just sort of a form of communication that's like so necessary for so many people. And there is nothing anymore. We burned all the books, but still, in the distance, we can hear people shouting. We cannot forget how to speak.
How do you feel?
I feel amazing. It
Yeah.
was so much fun. I was so nervous, but I'm like such an amazing time. My friends are here and they're amazing and like so supportive.
I think there's something really like special in like a lot of my friends here are people that I've met through like poetry, or like who have like run nights or been at nights or whatever, and I just think that's, especially in the age of like a lot of things being online.
Given that one of the biggest things that I get from art is learning about other people and other people's experiences, I feel like it's almost a bit of a responsibility as someone who creates art to share it in some form or another. And that doesn't have to be through performance, but I think it's a really lovely way of doing it. We're like so privileged to be able to live in a place where we can do that. I think there's something in me that feels it would be wrong not to, on the basis that there's so many people who can't.
You know, it kind of motivates me and pushes me to like write more and do more and explore more and perform more and listen more.
It's amazing. I wouldn't be the person I am today in terms of like the people I know who shaped me without doing poetry in Birmingham.
What would you be without it?
A lot more scared of everything.
Naked, dazed and confused, sprawled out on the bathroom tile.